Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be making 2 envelopes and 3 Rolodex cards for the nature journal I'm working on. And these are all from, I believe, my porch prints. No, I'm sorry. It's from Love Junk Journals. That's where the paper collection's from. So the envelopes and some of the ephemera that I'm going to be using on the Rolodex cards are all from Love Junk Journals. So these are just some really, really cute little envelopes that I just trimmed out and I put on copy paper, I think. So I didn't want them to be too thick. And the stamps are just from stamps that I've had in my stash. I got most of my stamps either from eBay or Etsy. And there's lots of sellers online. So you can just do some searching on vintage stamps and you'll be able to find lots of different selections. And they're actually not very bad priced. I thought they would be much more expensive, but I guess because a lot of them are canceled, they don't have as much value. And since I'm just using them for junk journals, I like the canceled look on them. So I found them pretty inexpensive in both locations. So I'd recommend going to both of those places to find them if you're looking for some. What I did was I took some lace. This lace is pretty cheap lace that I got from Walmart. It just came on a roll and it was in the wedding section, like of the craft section. And I like it because it had already a cream color and it takes the ink pretty well. So if you want to make it a bit darker, you can add your little blending tool and add some more color to it. I'm using my Beacon 3-in-1 glue to attach everything down. I like that glue the best because it really doesn't warp. Over the weekend, I actually made some journal pages and I used some Eileen's clear glue and it apparently had a lot of water in it and it really warped my pages. If you're looking for a glue that does not warp pages and you don't mind spending a little extra money, I highly recommend the Beacon. It works super well. And I also use Scotch Quick Dry, so if I'm using something or doing something or gluing something on that's just a little bit, I'll use a Scotch Quick Dry, especially if it's a cardstock, and that usually works pretty well too. Unless I'm doing a big surface area, then I want to use something that's not going to warp my page as much. The jute that I'm using here is from some Happy Mail that I received, and I wanted to use that up. I hate throwing things away when I get them in a little cute packaging, so I pulled that out and I'm going to be decorating the back part of the envelope. This paper is from, I believe, an Amazon packaging. I really like the color and it takes ink really well as well. I'm just going to take my glue stick and I want to put this on the inside flap and the inside part of the envelope, as you can see here. I don't need it on the other bits because those are going to be tucked down and you won't see it. The glue stick works really well. This paper, both the envelope paper and the brown paper, is pretty thin and it worked really well to stick everything down. I'll do that on both of these envelopes. And then I just use that little key card and that just smooths everything down. You can see there's lots of wrinkles in this brown paper, but it smooths down really well. Once that is all down, I will take my scissors and I'll trim it out. I'll show you me trimming out one of the envelopes and then I'll fast forward because it's exactly the same on both. Just folding my flaps up so I don't cut them accidentally, and I'm just trimming around the edges. And I found that worked pretty well. There probably is a better way to do it. Sometimes I like to do things the hard way, but that worked really well. Now you can see I've stitched around everything. The labels that I used on the front of the envelope too that say August 20 and then the little definition, those are also from Love Junk Journals. Here's some of my Scotch Quick Dry that I'm going to use here on the flaps. I kind of go back and forth between the Scotch Quick Dry and the Beacon 3-in-1 on some of these smaller bits. Just kind of depends on what I'm feeling. The Scotch Quick Dry comes out a little bit easier. The applicator that I have my Beacon 3-in-1 in this video is really tiny and it wasn't always working very well. I thought I would try something else because my Beacon bottle tends to kind of volcano and that bottle wasn't working any better. It would do the same thing. So I've since purchased some of those Sugar Bell bottles from We Are Memory Keepers, and so far those have worked really well. But you'll probably see a few videos where I'm using this little small little applicator bottle for right now. Now I'm on to the Rolodex cards. I'm going to take my distressed oxide and ink around all the edges. I've already tea dyed and stained these index cards. I used some Lindy's Stamp Gang as well as some, I think, either tea or coffee. These little tags are from Love Junk Journals. I'm going to use a couple of them on these Rolodex cards. These little circles are also from Love Junk Journals, the same kit that I'm was using from the envelopes. Just kind of figuring out what I like here. That is an old milk cap that I'm going to add. And then here are some eagle stamps, and I really like the color. I thought they went really well with the green in the Rolodex card as well as the little tags. This is eco-dyed paper from my porch prints. I'm going to add here to add a little bit extra texture and dimension. And it's going to be nice because these little Rolodex cards, you'll be able to write on the back side of them and do some journaling. Some are a little bit more bumpy than others, but I think it will still work out okay. Here is old definition paper. And I thought it was a little bit too white, so you'll see me inking it up here in just a little bit. Just kind of playing around with how I want to layer the paper on these. This is, oh, I think it's like a, I don't know if it's a time card. I can't remember what these things are called, but I just coffee dyed or tea dyed that one as well. And I thought the yellow was kind of pretty. It added a pop of color. Most of the papers and things that I'm using in this kit are pretty neutral. So I thought having this yellow was just a nice added little pop of color. And I muted it down a bit by adding on some of that lace that I was adding to the envelopes earlier. Just inking that again with my ink blending tool. So here I'm going to just use my little makeup-y kind of brush to add some color. I love these little brushes to add just a really soft color. If you're looking to, just kind of color in the area and not add a lot of harsh lines, these brushes are really great for that. And then I use my foam blending tool if I'm trying to like ink around the edges or I want a deeper, darker color. That works really well. So you can see here I'm inking around the edges with the little tool, the foam applicator tool. And I ink around a lot of my things because I just think it gives a lot more depth to it. I feel like everything looks a bit flat when you don't ink around it. So I tend to ink around a lot of the edges, especially of the more white pieces. I just think it kind of, grounds the piece a bit more. But I've seen a lot of people not ink and their stuff looks great too. It just, to my eye, when I'm making it, it seems like it needs to be inked around on some of these things. Just adding some glue, trying to kind of keep my layers somewhat together because I can never remember exactly how they were. So if I pick it all up, I'll forget when I try to put it down. So I try to keep it all kind of the way I had it. It doesn't always work that well. Now I thought this was going to show in the back, or it does show in the back, so I wanted to ink up the back of it so you don't have a really stark white paper color there. Trying to get my ink out, or my ink out, my glue. And that 3-in-1 also is really good for that really thin dictionary paper, and because it really lays it flat and it's really nice. Here I'm going to sprinkle some sequins around. I've been using the sequins on a lot of the ephemera that I'm going to be putting in this journal, and I wanted to add it to these pieces as well. And it's really pretty copper color. I think I got these from Michael's in a variety pack. I'm going to use my 3-in-1 glue to add these down. Another good adhesive to use for these little what are they, sequins, is glue dots. So if you use the mini glue dots, they work super well too. I sometimes when I use the 3-in-1, those sequins will tend to pop off. So I do like the glue dots. I just didn't have any with me right in front of me, so I just decided to use my 3-in-1 instead. Just kind of gluing everything down. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing with these last pieces, just kind of gluing everything down that I collaged on the card. So while I'm doing that, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. If you want to know when I have a next video published, all you need to do is click on the little bell icon and it will notify you when I have a video up. And I'm really enjoying making these junk journal pieces. I believe next week I will be back with another Project Life video. So if you're interested in those, I will have another one of them up. I am actually going and scrapbooking a bit more here this weekend, and hopefully I'm going to be getting a lot of my Project Life done. That seems to be a good thing to do at like crops and things like that, just because I don't have to take as much stuff. I think when I do junk journaling, I have lots of little stuff, so I have to take more. So I tend not to do that when I do like crops and I go away to scrapbook. I tend to like to do more of my scrapbook traditional layouts or my Project Life. It just seems like from a supplies perspective, it works better. So I should have some more Project Life stuff up soon too. So anyway, like I said, these are just the little Rolodex cards that will go in the little nature album. I have a few pictures at the end. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a great day and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye everyone.